Hello and welcome to the podcast She Did That. This is where we celebrate women shaping the promotional products industry, one bold idea, one fearless leap, and one inspiring story at a time.
I'm Emily Codner here with my fabulous co-host and online 18 recipient, Amelia Model. Congratulations, Amelia.
Thank
Every
you.
episode, we will be chatting with trailblazers, innovators, and everyday boss babes who are making big waves in our space. One product, one pitch, one bold move at a time.
And today our guest is Holley Ort. She is the regional sales manager over at the Magnet Group, and she's got a story worth hearing, a journey worth celebrating. And you guessed it, she did that, and she's doing that, and she's going to keep doing it.
That's right.
Welcome, Holly. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. Well, while we know that you're clearly fabulous because we've had a chance to chit chat with you for a couple minutes, why don't you introduce yourself to our audience and tell us how you got into the promotional products industry?
I am actually new to,
Ooh.
I'm still a baby in the promotional products world. I have done sales previous to this with various different companies. I actually worked at UPS for a while. Um, but as far as the promotional products, I have only been doing it for about a year and a half now. And it came as just a fun opportunity. I knew Jeremy, who is the manager over here at the Greenwood, South Carolina location, and he had just asked and posted on Facebook, and I said, "Let's go for it." So I got into it and haven't looked back since.
Love it,
That's
love it. Welcome
awesome.
to our circus.
Thanks. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm a people person anyway, so it's fun.
I couldn't tell. I
No.
couldn't tell already.
No, not at all.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and dive in. So, being new to the industry is one hurdle, and then you have a
Yep.
large territory. You have both North and South Carolina, and you have a pretty busy personal life as well. We hear. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so and actually funny enough, since I've talked to you guys, I have taken on 4 more states.
Oh,
Ooh.
wow. You are a
Yeah.
busy lady.
Yeah, so we have added on Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Arkansas to that list. But outside of that, I have a whole slew of children. We have 8, me and my husband together. Some adopted and obviously some stepchildren, but we have one still at home. She is our baby. She is 12 years younger than all of the rest of them at the very least. So we stay busy with her. She's cheerleading and gymnastics and chorus for school. And, we have, of those 8 kids that we have 5 grandbabies and 3 dogs and, managing the house. And then obviously that entails so much, right? Us moms
Mhm.
chauffeur and cook and laundromat and everything else, but and then I'm also involved in a nonprofit. Me and 2 of my best friends started a nonprofit called Tees Healing Oasis, where we help furnish new homes for domestic abuse survivors. So
Oh, I love that.
Oh my goodness,
yeah.
fantastic. You are superwoman. Can I have some of your energy, please?
Yeah, no joke.
I don't always have all of the energy, but we make it happen.
Yes, absolutely. That's what we do around here. That's what women are meant to do. But man, you deserve an award and a medal for that. Look at you go.
I appreciate it.
Um, yeah, so you kind of alluded to this, but you turned your home into a safe haven for so many teens. What inspired you to open your door not just once, but again and again, even when it wasn't easy?
So I would say it actually started like with my own childhood. Um, I lived about 30, 40 minutes away out of town or out, on the outskirts of town, right? And
Mhm.
so although my mom and dad 100% fostered like my outgoing and verbally make friends with everybody personality, who wants to drive that far out of town to go hang out with their friends, right? So, um, it often ended up where I was the one that was traveling to all of my friends. And so growing up, I was like, I don't want that to be the thing with my kids. I want them to have all of their friends at my house. I want to know they're safe, right? I
Mhm.
don't think that's uncommon for a lot of people, but we took it kind of a step further. I deal with anxiety like a lot of people do, right? And so when my son started driving, of course, that skyrockets, right? First teenager out the door, he's driving by himself. And we had always had a very close relationship. And so growing up together with him, I had him when I was 18. Growing up with him, right? It was always about communication. It was huge in our household. And as he got older, I started seeing a lot of his friends that teenage boys, right? They're not very good at divulging their feelings. But I learned that a lot of them needed it. And so it really started out with just him being a people person as well and making friends and them needing and wanting to come over to the house, watch movies, and it grew to, "Hey, you can talk to your mom about that?" And my son would say, "Yeah." Like you don't? And so his friends would start asking advice and coming to me and talking to me about things, right? So through that process, um, he began hanging out with some kids that had some not so great home stories. One that was living on his own at 16
Mm.
in a car, um, one that had been kicked out of his house. So one night turned into two, turned into three, turned into four, to essentially our epic family meetings, where I said, "All right, tell me what's going on. Um, be honest. I want to know all the truth." And so that's where it started, and then just developed from there to be, hey, if you need a safe space, you need a timeout, you need, you need to come home for an hour after school to reset before you have to go and face whatever challenges they were facing outside of that, to we're making another bedroom. um so yeah, I mean it was just a full on development from my childhood up until he became a teenager, and hearing some of their stories and realizing that it was needed. It wasn't, my husband and I literally didn't even talk about it when we opened our home. Um, it was, yeah, go ahead and crash on the couch, or, we'll make a bed for you. And one night turned into more.
It's a good story. And I can definitely relate. I was the child bringing home, I hate to say strays, but bringing home the strays to my house and being like, "Hey, mom and dad, this person has a bad situation. Can they crash here for a little bit?" And
Yep.
then it became years. So I
Yep.
I totally get it. Only one though, but yeah, we ran out of room at that time. We had a very small house. So those kids are super super lucky to have somebody take them, accept them, love them, care for them. So you kind of redefined what your family looks like. How do you personally define motherhood, and what does family mean to you?
Loaded question.
Yeah, it's a big one.
That's all right. So I think that motherhood is 100% the most powerful thing that you can be in this world. And I'm not cutting any dads down by saying that. Um, Dads typically tend to be the enforcers. They tend to
Mhm.
be, but moms, we have the ability to do both. We could do the nurturing, but we can put our foot down when it needs to be, right? And so I think motherhood is just, it's one of the most powerful things that you can be. And it's such a journey. I think me as a mom starting out young, right? Starting out at 18 to having, my second or having my second biological child, my daughter at 30, right? Motherhood is ever evolving. It's changing. So it's multifaceted on so many different levels.
Mhm.
And I guess the easiest way to explain it is just a nurturing, unconditional love of boundaries, communication, protection, and just an overall willingness to grow with your family, with your kids.
Yeah.
Um, I think that family in itself, support, and that's what you need. You need support. You need to know sacrifice, patience, understanding. I think all of that makes for um, the trust and the respect that it takes to build a family that's not blood.
Love that. Love that. And, I think it's safe to say that you're building your home, you're opening it up to others who are very fortunate to have you. So I think it's safe to say that you're becoming the cool house. So
We try
there,
sometimes.
there is a balance of this, and it's providing
Mhm.
kids with structure and accountability. How do you create that environment where kids feel both safe and guided, but still be the cool house?
um, you know, explaining earlier, right? It kind of started out as just him bringing friends over, and so they got to experience something that they weren't experiencing at their own home. Which it's crazy. You don't think of teenagers as being ones to want to hang out at home with mom and dad. And so I tried to do things that were fun to me, but also gave us time to talk, right? So we had like Christmas would come around and we had cookie decorating parties, right? We cut on a movie, we made cookies, we decorated them, we did popcorn, like the whole 9 yards. We put bean bags all over the floor. We had a really large sectional couch that everybody kind of sprawled out on that came with a big, huge, like 5x5 ottoman. I mean, it was massive, right? So, doing things like that from the get go and allowing them to see it can be all right hanging out with mom, and just being able to build kind of that trust there, set it up for when they did move in. A lot of a lot of them came from homes where mom and mom was working two jobs, and I was living with brother, or I was living with my uncle, or I was living with my grandmother, um, and nobody knew what they were doing,
Mhm.
or worst case scenario, living in a car at 16, right? And so they never had anyone to give them a curfew, tell them what they needed to do, right? So starting off with the fun, starting off with showing them that um, you can be a teenager. We can allow you to do things that teenagers love to do, especially here in the South. We love our bonfires, right? My kids were no different. They wanted a big bonfire in the back of the yard every weekend, um, to the point where we would have to be like, look, it rained yesterday. The wood's wet, right? We can't have one. But doing things like that and allowing them to be able to see these are fun, but we have boundaries that we have to respect. And so when the decision was made for them to move into our home, another famous family meeting would always come about, and we have four rules. You don't lie to me, you communicate, you show me respect, and if you're not in school, you're working. Those are my four rules. Simple as that, right? But it was a challenge for some of them because they didn't have those before. They didn't have rules. They didn't have anybody telling them what to do. And so it took very much grace and patience in the beginning, um, to allow them to fumble and to mess up and to um, maybe not follow through with, hey, I'm going to be late for my curfew, and not being able to communicate with me for that. And I would say it didn't take long, but being able to say, these are the rules, setting those boundaries really early after they've already got to experience the fun things, right? And the memory making things that built the trust. Having them come in, hear the rules, allowing them to fumble, and for me to be able to still say, it's okay. I love you. I support you. We're going to be fine. This is how we improve. Um, I think those were probably the biggest ways that we were able to do it. But I mean, they got consequences just like the rest, everybody else's kids, my bio kids, my step kids, my adopted kids, they were all the same. Even friends that didn't live with me. If you're staying at my house, you live by these rules, even if it's for one night. Um, and it got to the point where, God bless Life 360.
Yes. Yes.
um, and so having all of them on there to be able to say, you're 20 minutes away and your curfew is in 10. Do you think we should be calling me right now to tell me you're going to be late?
Yeah. And no speeding.
And no speeding, right? Um, so I think it's just a combination, but living by and setting those 4 rules up, setting those boundaries up early, from day one in the move-in process, but after they have gotten to experience all of the fun and the trust building, being able to come to me and tell me anything. I mean, I've heard Joe and Joe got into a fight at school, and like we recorded it and hey, look, mom. And I'm like, oh God, have mercy. Like, this is why we don't do that. Right. But in the same sense, we have that communication. We are open. So they're able to tell me those things, which is great. And we're able to turn those into learning opportunities. Um, but just building that from day one is the biggest thing for being the fun house.
Mm-hmm.
But we know when to lay down the law.
I get it. I have what I designed the fun house, and we did the same reason. We wanted all the things here. We live in the country. We wanted the kids to
Yep.
be here, have their friends, be safe, have a good environment, not be getting into trouble somewhere else.
Exactly.
But we still have to have rules. Like, kids don't always want boundaries, but they respect them.
Yep.
After they've eaten dinner at my house so many times, they know where the dishwasher is. They can load their dirty dishes.
Absolutely.
They pick up their
Absolutely.
towels after they're outside playing and swimming. Like, I'm not the maid here. I am not paid
Yep.
help. You come, you have fun, but you clean up your own mess. I get it.
Yes. 100%. 100%. It's huge. Respect is huge for me.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, being taken in. I didn't have, again, we had hiccups, but I didn't have a whole lot of questioning my rules because it was just, they were grateful, right? They were just happy to have warm meals, place to lay their head, somewhere they could have fun. But a lot of them didn't question it. So
That's awesome. We're running short on time here, so I'm going to skip forward to the last question. So, what is your go-to motivational quote? Motivational, sorry, I'm like, my mind's racing with all these things. What's your go-to motivational quote or your mantra?
oh man. I will tell you, I start every morning. Most people, have their things that they do in the morning, things that they say to themselves. And I start off every morning by 3 things that I am grateful for. And I remember those throughout the day. It could be as simple as I'm thankful for coffee this morning.
Yeah.
Um,
Thankful I
Absolutely,
woke up
preach.
this morning.
right? I'm thankful that my sons and daughters made it home last night. I'm thankful for my grandbaby, whatever the case may be, because bad things are going to happen to us, things that are going to make us mad or sad, or aggravate us are going to happen throughout the day. And I have found that if I remember those 3 things throughout the day, turns it into pretty good day. That and my faith. I mean, it's just as simple as that. I don't really have a mantra that I live by. I learned the serenity prayer early on in my life. And that is one thing that I continue to go back to, is that my faith, and there's always something to be thankful for.
Fantastic. Well, I mean, I definitely want to keep this conversation going with you. I think we're going to connect after this.
Yeah,
Would
absolutely.
love some ideas. That you're just incredible. Thank you so much for joining us today, Holley.
Oh, thank
Thank you.
you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, everyone else, for joining us on She Did That. We look forward to seeing you next time. But for now, take it in, be inspired, then go do that. See you next time.
Thanks again, Holly.